Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz, and today we're going to discuss relationships again. And in this discussion of relationship, it is, let me give credit where credit is due first. It comes from a post that was on my lady's page, Donna, and and I'm going to put the post up here what it says, but it says, a woman is naturally submissive to a man that she trusts to lead, even if she's an alpha female. Now, we're going to discuss this in length, but let me give you a little bit of backstory on it, or what I believe is some of the backstory. This comes right on the heels. I don't know if it was created because of the conversation on the Breakfast Club with Fantasia. I know a lot of information, a lot of people have been talking about that, and we're going to discuss some of her comments as well. But when I didn't see the Fantasia interview before I saw this post. And what intrigued me the most on this post was the comments from the people on it. I also shared this on my relationship group, The Honey Pot, on Facebook, as well as on my Coach Renz page and my personal page. And although it didn't spark as much controversial conversation as it did on Donna's page, the controversy is there. Now, I'm not going to specifically call out any of the comments that certain people made or their names or anything of that nature, but there is an overwhelming thought process on this one. And what I noticed initially, I noticed that almost all the women, the majority of the women, agreed a woman is naturally submissive to a man that she trusts to lead, even if she's an alpha female. But what I noticed on the male side, the men disagree with this wholeheartedly and focused in solely on submission, on the word submission. Some focused on alpha female, but most of them focused on submission and how women just will not submit to a man that she trusts to lead, which kind of, if you think about it, doesn't match up. It doesn't match up at all, because a woman wouldn't trust you. A woman who trusts you to lead is submitting. So, but I think many people have the idea of submission crooked in their mind. But before I go too far, let me give thanks and gratitude to everyone who supports this channel. If you're finding me for the first time, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you know when another video drops. If you're on Facebook or any other format that's not YouTube and you're watching this, come over to YouTube, click on the video, like, subscribe, do the same thing, but also share this video on the platform that you're on. I appreciate that greatly. And I also want to thank everyone who supports this channel through Patreon. I really greatly appreciate you guys for your support, your continued support. And for my Patreon, I'm going to start giving you guys special deals on my coaching programs, as well as Uncle Renz Popcorn. And for those who do purchase from Uncle Renz Popcorn, that's the letter U, the letter R, and the word popcorn.com. Thank you very much. That's my gourmet popcorn company. So I appreciate everyone who shops there as well. So moving forward with all the gratitudes now that those are done, let's get into this. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to post a link to a video I did some time ago. I don't know exactly how long ago it was. It was sometime this year, I believe, in 2019, where I talked about the difference between an alpha, beta, Charlie, and delta male. I'm not going to go into the full descriptions on this video, but I definitely want you to go and check out what I said concerning a alpha, beta, Charlie, delta male, and how they are described. We'll get a little description in this one, but for the most part, if you want the deep details, you got to go catch that video. So again, a woman is naturally submissive to a man that she trusts to lead, even if she's an alpha female. Let's break this down as it goes. A woman is naturally submissive to a man that she trusts to lead. I love The Lion King. And many people like to compare our mentality, our behavior, or how we should be to lions. At least I do, I know. But in The Lion King, you had Mufasa, right? Mufasa, alpha male. Mufasa's primary job in the movie, as well as lions in general, the alpha lion's primary job is to protect and govern his territory. If you remember in the movie, Mufasa was like, we don't deal with the little dark area over there where the hyenas live. This is our domain right here. And he maintained the governance of that area. He made sure that the overeating wasn't happening because of the hyenas and, other animals of that nature. But lions do that naturally in the wild. They will help maintain the balance. They make sure their population doesn't outgrow the ability to feed itself. If the herds get low, then the lion's pride stays low. It's a balance of nature, but we see this all throughout nature. But the main job of the alpha male is to protect and govern. And in this discussion, too much got put on who brings in the money, who brings in the bread, who putting the bacon in the house, who's doing that, which is because we're creatures of reasoning, we put too much emphasis on that aspect of it. And we're going to get to there as well. And that is one of the problems when we talk about submission, right? Submission isn't bowing down, right? It's not bowing down. It's the natural ability for a person to recognize leadership. And all this saying is that a woman will naturally submit to a man that she trusts to lead, a man that has demonstrated leadership. In the Fantasia video, when she was talking, she was speaking on how her house is ran, how the things are done in her house between her and her husband, and how he taught her how to submit. He taught her how to be not flippant at the mouth as much, and taught her how to he governed the relationship to teach her how to govern what she's doing, which she's now going to do an independent album. Well, she's done it, and it's coming out in October. I believe October 11th is what she said. And just by listening to the interview is going to make me go buy the album in itself. And she's a big fan of Queen, so I love Queen, so I'm going to get that out. I don't buy many CDs, but I'm buying that one. But anyway, so she discussed this, and it got turned and flipped. Now, she talked about so many things in that interview, but this is the primary focus. Then her and her husband did a secondary video where he and she discussed the fact of how they function, as she is an alpha female and he is an alpha male, but they work with each other, that she understands the role of her husband, he understands the role of his wife. The monetary gain is ill important. It's not the thing that makes you an alpha. If you look at the lion kingdom, it is the female lions who actually do the majority of the hunting. A male lion hunts some, but his main job is to govern and protect, to keep rogue lions out, to make sure other Beta Charlie Delta lions don't try to come in and start taking over the pride. This was his job, and this is the same job that men should have in our society, especially in the black community. And one of the problems in the black community is that the black male has been so marginalized. During the 70s and 80s, when quota laws and things like that came about, it was more, it was a better business move, just put it plainly, a better business move for companies to get a black female, for colleges to bring in black females. You're satisfying the race quota and you're satisfying the gender quota, all in the same person. So the black female began to have greater opportunities of higher education and opportunities in corporate America than the black male. And even in gaining contracts, the black female will have a better opportunity because she's satisfying the gender and she's satisfying the minority quotas. So over these years, the black female has had a greater opportunity, which has displaced the male. Also displacing the male with laws and rules that said that if you needed and you required government assistance, if there was a male in the household, you can't get it. And of course, the female lion, the black female lioness, she wants to protect her cubs, her children. So she excluded the black male from the household. So now the children are growing up without the black male. And the household is now broken. There are many other, and I'm sure you guys can place even more so in the commentary. And this is not a racial thing. This is just what happened. This is just what happened. It just is what it is. So what that has put us in is a situation where now black men have been displaced from the black home. They've been displaced from corporations. They've been displaced from opportunities. So it's more difficult. I tell my son all the time, it is more difficult for you out here than it's going to be for your sisters. They have better opportunities. So you have to work. Not only do you have to work twice as hard as people who don't look like you, you have to work twice as hard as the woman that does look like you. So that's just how it is in this country. And you have to play the hand that you're dealt and play that hand as best you possibly can. So we get back to the situation of the woman being naturally submissive to a man that she trusts. I've always told, I've had these conversations with guys, and guys, they get all caught up into their ego. And I used to say all the time, I'd be an excellent house husband because I know that my mindset is to govern. It doesn't afflict my ego to know that my lady is making more money than me. I've always also said that if my lady is making more money than me, that's great, because I know that I'm going to make money myself. So that's just more we have. And if you listen to my financial videos, you know I do the 70-10-10-10 plan. It doesn't matter who makes the most money. It all comes into the 70-10-10-10 plan with allotments going out for each person for their own personal usage. So it really doesn't matter. I could be making the most, she could be making the most. It doesn't matter. When we come together in unity, then we are making it. We are. And this is where too much confusion gets placed in there, because we get focused on who's making money. But what does it matter if your lady is making money? Interesting thing about Fantasia's interview. She said that for the first 15 years of her career, she made all this money was made, but either she was spending it or she allowed other people to take it from her. And she was talking about people in the industry, talking about managers and labels, and all these people were taking her money, and she ended up broke. She didn't know how much money was in the account. She didn't know how to deal with it. So what does it matter if you're making the most money, but you cannot manage it? But here's a guy, here's your alpha male, here's your leader, who may not be making as much as you're making, but he knows how to manage it. If he says this is how we manage the funds, then a woman who can understand that leadership will say he's interested in our best. That's where a true alpha male lives. He's interested in the best for the community, for the whole, for the family, for the unit. Not for himself, not for how it looks to other people, not for how society has said it should be or supposed to be, but it's what is the best for our unit. What are our plans, our goals that we've both set down and come to an agreement that our goal is to accomplish this, acquire that, leave this as a legacy? Well, how do we get there? Let's reverse engineer it and then make our way to get there, to get to that point based on where we are right now. How do we elevate to that stage? And when we do that, this is where we'll be. These are the results. And if there are changes that must occur, we'll come and counsel together and figure out what's the best course of action and then implement it. That's all a leader does, is implement what's best for his people. I mean, there are a lot more details involved, a lot more things that you have to do to become a leader. This is why my program, leadership is a movement. Leadership is not a title. It's not something that you're born with. It's a movement. It's the way you move. It's the way things go, the way you inspire people, the way you put people in the better situations for them to be their best. If you look at Fantasia's situation, here she was being used and abused by the labels and everybody else, didn't have money, it's difficult for her to take care of her family. She's struggling, right? But now here she has this man she's been married to for 5 years, and he's put her in a position. I don't know if based on her conversation, it would appear that because of him, they've been able to restructure how they live and how she lived prior, so that she is now coming out with an album on her own label and having the ability to put forth the work, the energy, the management, the money, and everything that goes with the promotion to be able to push her own self, to do all the things that the labels do, but then take the money from you once it's done. She's now in a position to do that herself. I will say, based on what she said, he came into her life, and that was the results of him being in her life. So I'm going to give, unless she and he come out and say differently, I'm going to give him that credit of being the difference maker in her life. And they talked about God, they talked about prayer, she talked about all these other points and attributes that was part of it as well. So it's not, it's all encompassed in one. So in this discussion that happened on Facebook, many people talked about how if a woman, she wants this man of her description, whether it's a God-fearing man, a loving man, a economically sound man, wanted this man in all those categories, but when she gets him, she doesn't know how to submit to him, or she won't submit to him, especially if she's an alpha male. And that's the other part, that even if she's an alpha female, the only thing about an alpha female. See, I went through those descriptions, and really the way I describe the alpha males, alpha delta, alpha beta, Charlie, delta males, you can ascribe the same thing to a female. The alpha female is one who is very confident in herself, goes after what she desires, gets what she desires. She's very independent. She doesn't need somebody. It's the difference between a delta female needing a man and an alpha female desiring a man. There's a difference in that. There's a difference. When you don't need something, then when you need something, you're in lack, right? You have a lack. You're in desperation. You have a lack of. When you desire something, it's I don't have a lack of, but it would be my desire to have, because it would only accentuate what I already am and who I already am and what I already have. So that is a major difference. When an alpha female comes to the table, if she's a true alpha female, now understand, the woman who seems like she got it going on, the woman who seems like she's handling her business and she might look like an alpha female, may very well be a beta or Charlie female, but she thinks she's an alpha female. And one of the ways you know she's not is when she does come into contact with the alpha male, who is a true alpha male, who knows how to love and nurture as well as provide and protect. She will naturally submit to his leadership because he will display it. It will be on display, and she will naturally submit. The ones who don't, the ones who rebel, the ones who buck, the ones who push, barring trauma, because we are reasonable creature, barring the trauma, the ones who push the hardest and continuously and just I won't ever and I'm never and this ain't no man gone, those are actually beta Charlie females who just have attributes of an alpha female in the ability to accomplish things. That's it. But her true mentality is not an alpha female, because her true mentality is the beta Charlie, because she's insecure and she's so damaged by what others have done that she can't recognize a true alpha male. She can't recognize it. And if she is a beta Charlie, then she's going to have a lot of pushback until that trauma is resolved. Now, if the trauma is resolved, she may go ahead and submit to the leadership. If the trauma is not resolved, she will argue, fuss, fight, argue, fuss, fight, argue, fuss, fight. And then the relationship would dissolve itself, and she will say, see, he can't handle a strong female. That's not true. He can handle a strong female. He just doesn't have the patience, nor doesn't see the value in handling a female that's so interested in fussing, fighting, and holding on to her she-go that there's no point in maintaining it, because a true alpha male is not going to waste his leadership on those who refuse to be led. It's just not going to happen. So he'll move on until he finds the ones. That's why in a lion's pride, you not only does the alpha male expel rogue lions and young beta Charlie or Charlie Delta lion, he will expel the lionesses, if they do not understand their function in the pride. The same thing will happen here. We just have the ability to reason, so we make our excuses for it. We make our rationales and our reasons for it. But what's the solution here? The solution truly is first for, especially in the black community, for men to recognize how to become an alpha or to be an alpha. If you're not one, then you're just not going to be one. And then you should date accordingly. Sounds harsh, right? Well, get over it. It is what it is. If you're a delta male, you're not going to be able to show leadership to an alpha female. It's just not going to happen. You got to find you a Charlie or a delta female. Usually a delta female with a delta male will be best. A Charlie female who thinks she's an alpha will probably try to dominate you and manhandle you. So that's not the kind, and she will run over you, and you'll allow it. Go watch my video on alpha, beta, Charlie, delta males to get more understanding of that. But you have to find someone that matches you in your criteria. If you're a beta male, you may need a beta female, or you can probably deal with an alpha female, as long as you understand that she's going to take the lead in many things that you cannot. Now, alpha male recognizes the same, but she doesn't have to take the lead. He gives her the lead. He says, you're better at handling the details. Like I can tell you right now, big picture, I'm awesome. Details is where I lack. So My lady, I know to turn over the details. Here's the details. I need you to handle the details. You are better at the details. I'm turning this responsibility over to you. It's like the CEO giving this over to the COO, and here, CIO, here's your part. CFO, here's your part. It is the CEO knowing who to put in place to give authority over it. I would do the same. That's what an alpha male would do. See, a beta male will sit there and argue, fuss, and fight and try to do something that he cannot do, or that he's not better at than his lady, and then they fuss, fight, and then she takes it. This is what I'm going to do. I don't want to see the lights get turned off. I don't want to see the extra payments for late charges. I don't want to see these things. So she takes it, and it's not given. It's a big difference. It's a big difference in the functionality of the family, because even when it comes to other situations that she feels strongly enough about, she's going to take it, and then that is going to cause friction. So you have to match up. You need to match up. It's always better if you're a beta male, you need to find your beta female, or Charlie, or a Delta. If you're a Charlie male, you need to find you a Charlie or a Delta. If you're a Delta, you just need to have a Delta. Only a true alpha male should truly be with an alpha female. Otherwise, you're going to have friction. You're going to have problems. Now, it depends on how difficult those problems are. You might be able to manage, but you won't have the fullness of glory of the relationship that you could have. And that's the end result. We want the fullness and the glory of what we could have, not the little bits. But this conversation just brought up a lot, and it reminded me of that video that I did, and I'm going to throw it up here in a link. I just noticed that women are eagerly looking for that male that they can trust, that they can submit to. And they understand that submission is not slavery. But women are looking for that. The black woman especially is looking for that. And the black man has to stand up and be counted for that. That's why it's vital that we teach younger men how to be men. We have a huge gap in generations. We have a huge gap where a lot of us grew up without that in our lives. We didn't have it we didn't have that structure. We didn't have those teachers. We didn't have those uncles, those cousins. We didn't have the neighbors. We didn't have all those people. We've grown up in society where people don't know their neighbors. So your sons, your boys aren't getting that from the community. It's not being raised at the village. But we have to take charge now, which is why I love when I see a lot of 20-something-year-old black men with their families. I see that a lot. Regardless of what statistics say, I'm telling you what I see. If you see it, great. If you don't see it, that's not great. I need you to go find it, go see it. But I see it consistently here in Atlanta. So, in conclusion, what we can do is grow our men to be alpha men, and men need to have an understanding of that, because these women are out here looking for it. They desire it. They don't just want it, they desire it. It is a desired thing to have. Is a man that they can trust to lead them financially, to lead them emotionally, to lead them mentally, to lead them physically, to lead them spiritually, to lead them in every aspect of their life, and know how to be a good leader. Know when to say, baby, you're better at this than I am. I want you to be able to handle this, or I'm better at this. I love Donna. Donna can't cook. So I do all the cooking. I do all the cooking because she can't cook. Traditionally, that's not the male's role, unless it's a grill outside. But who cares about tradition? It's about who's better at it. Who does it to the point where it makes the family happy, it makes the family grow, it makes the unity more unified. That's what matters. And that's what I want you guys to understand, what a true leader does and how a true leader functions. He functions in that capacity. Now, I know I may sound a little bit redundant at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. Like I said, if you're finding me for the first time, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and continue to shop at Uncle Renz Popcorn. I greatly appreciate it, because that's what keeps the ability to do this going on, and continue to, if you need help with your relationships, contact me at coachrenz.com, and I can definitely help you develop your relationship or get yourself prepared for a relationship, and teach you how to do things like I did a video yesterday about sexual alchemy, about how to heal one another through your sexual intimacies from the trauma that you've experienced before. So I'll link that up on this one as well. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.